Okay. Let's try it this way. I think that's showing there. Okay. Just to backtrack a little bit on this selection for you. Okay. Just to show you a window again, there's the essential that starts up, resetting the essential. So it puts all the palettes and everything back to where they were. Command plus or minus brings this down. And the toolbars are on the left, so I'm just going to drag this over into the middle a little bit so you can see it. And this is the window itself, so you can grab it from the top to extend it. Clicking over to the side of this gives you this selection of all these tools, and there's down at the bottom the 3 toolbar right there where you can click on it and actually go through this. This selection gives you the listing of the tools. Clicking inside here is going to hit advanced. Okay, so that's going to give me a little bit of a title here, so I'll just zoom back out of there a little bit. And when it does that, it snaps them back. I'm not having
Glitching now.
glitching. How about now? I think it's back on it.
The screen's a little off center, but yeah,
Okay. Okay. So again, the layers palette is over on the right. That's showing up. Good. And this is just the previous little help sketch there. So I'll stay with that layer. I'll just move everything out of the way and redo this part. And I'll zoom in a little. And the space bar is allowing me to move it around with the hand tool. And just to get us started again, it's trying to pick one of the easier sections under View. Just going to go to Rulers and Show Rulers. And that's showing these pieces. So inside of the ruler guides, right-clicking, it shows you the measurement. And its points, picas are for the measure of printing, inches, millimeters, centimeters, you may be familiar, and pixels for the computer in Photoshop and such. So I'm just going to click and drag out of here a ruler guide. They come out light blue. Hopefully it's showing on your screen. Let's see if it's not showing on my screen. So they're not showing for 2 reasons. Is because I went into View and Guides and turned them off, so now I have to show them. So you just have to be aware of that. So there they are. I've dragged one on the top, the bottom, left, and right. I've gone in to use the Shape tool, and when you click on this, you'll see the keystroke for it is rectangle, and you have these other we'll get to. And up at the top here, we'll just start. And just so when you see the bottom of this part, that's the hand tool to move it around. These are just duplicates of the same item that started out in black. So I'll go back to this guy. Just going to click up in here, and it does snap to it. So I'm just going to make one rectangular shape. And if I mentioned before the rotation of the colors, here's the fill and the stroke, and Illustrator is based off of 2 things, fill and stroke. And if you hit this at the bottom, it defaults to the white interior, black outline. The switching of this will switch those, and as I click on this, I can get the color, but I can also take that off. I'll just set the color palette over here for now, and the selection tool. So far, just 2 of the tools we're using. And click on this. I'll just swap it over so you can see the stroke to it. And just Option and drop this down and kind of lining it up with this piece. You'll notice that with these shapes, they have corner handles, vertical and horizontal handles, the center point, little rulers in here that turn it to a curve, all kinds of things. And when you grab this one, it keeps it, just that panel moves in, not everything. So I'm going to overlap it a little bit because we'll fix that as we go. And to duplicate something, instead of drawing it again, since I want the same size, I'm just going to duplicate it by holding the Option, and it turns to a double-headed arrow, and I can place that right over here, lining it up with this left-hand side. Is the mouse showing up? Okay. So now I'm just going to scooch that one over, and that does that piece. I'm going to drag one down to the bottom, so just Option and let it snap to the ruler guides. And the purple are what are called smart guides. They line everything up. Just going to drag this over to fit that. Even though I know it's not touching that, I'm just going to take a new piece up at the top up here. Let's see if it'll let me select it just by clicking on it or dragging a box marquee selection around it. An option drags it down here, and when the mouse goes over the outside edge, just hover and it turns to a double-headed arrow, allows me to rotate it. There's your aviation. And now I can hold the shift key down and it comes out straight, perpendicular to the piece. So now I can drag this down and line it up here. And it depends on how far I could have done it. So I'll delete that, and I'll just go ahead and drag this one over so I know that it matches right there. And just repeat this a little bit. No harm there. And I'll give it a color just so you can see it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So what does the Derby man and aviation, what do you mean by aviation?
Aviation is just another term for flying, planes, and airplane, airport, anything to do with aeronautics is the term.
Okay.
There's a program here called Aeronautics, so it's just trying to get you familiar with some of the different pieces there.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see this computer thing?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Can anybody of you at home see the computer part with Illustrator?
When you're presenting your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
I can see everything you're doing.
Okay. Scared me there for a minute. Okay, so just to show you, all these are separate pieces. I'll just take a selection box. This is the tool. I just click and drag. It selects everything. You notice that the color has a red, a no sign and a question mark because they're different. So it's not sure which one to represent. So it just gives you question marks for the stroke, which is the outline. And right now there's no fill. So I'll just give it a color. There's green. And you can see they're all separate. And if I go back to the stroke, I can give them all the same color too. So I'll give it and you can drag this down too just to get you a more of a color palette. So there's green and red colors. Then the tool that'll combine these, if I move this and they're all selected, that's good. And then hit Edit, Undo. You have Undo, Command Z if you make a mistake. If I deselect it by clicking outside of everything onto nothing and just move something, you see it just moves one item. To select them, I have to click and drag a selection box, a marquee selection is what they call it. And now when I let go and click inside of everything and move it, it takes everything. If I have everything selected and click outside, it just simply deselects everything. So it's just a little bit of tricks of the trade there, as they say. Now I have everything selected and I move it, and I want to put it back. Rather than try to move it back myself, if I do Edit, Undo, it puts it back exactly where it was. So those are little seems silly, but the tricks will make it much easier. In order to combine all of these, there's a window called Pathfinder, and it's under Window, has just about everything hidden in there. And I click under Pathfinder. This little palette shows up, and all these icons show you how they're going to interact with the shapes. Depends on how, you get more used to it as you go, but when things were drawn, what's on top. For example, I'll just show this to you in the Layers panel. This is what's on top. This is the layer right now. That's the scanned layer. The eyeball lets you hide it. And when you go next to it, there's all these little icons on everything, really. And when you click on it, it opens up this screen, toggles down, and it shows you every stroke you made, every shape you made. So in order and what's there. So, the computer's really keeping track of everything. So let's see. Everything's selected. So I'm just going to hit the first one, which is Unite. And there's keystrokes for it when you leave the mouse over it. And when I, make sure I have it all selected. That's good. So just drag a marquee selection around everything and just go ahead and makes one shape. If I don't like that color, everything, that doesn't matter. I can just zoom out, Command minus, and if you might have seen as it makes a copy. So I'll just set this over here. Before I let go, I'm just going to hold the Option, and it'll make a copy over here. This side, I can just go back in and it's changing the stroke color. I can swap it so it's blue with a green outline or take that out. And this is what I was trying to show near the end before. If I copy it, let go, hold the Option before I let go, it makes a copy. And now I have the option to click on and make variations of a theme. So if you're showing this to a client or somebody you want to get an opinion, then it's a good way to take something out there. So there's the 3 pieces right there. Okay. Now these are all just keystroke ideas. So just so you get an idea, I'm just going to hide the rulers, which is Command R. I'm going to hit the view for the ruler guide. So when you go to guides, there's the keystroke for it, which is the clover leaf, used to be the apple and the semicolon. So if you get those and you're trying to whip around the screen, you can see some things that help you. The tab key hides all the palettes. I'm going to hide the background scanned image, then hit the tab key, and then the letter F gives you a view, 3 views like that, and then Command plus lets you zoom in. So if you wanted to show, and the space bar lets you position it on the screen. So say you wanted to grab these and just move them up into the white space of the drawing. And there you have an image that you can show somebody, you know, which color do you like? It didn't really change the logo design, but just the coloring. And when you turn yours in, I'm just going to zoom this over into the middle. And the keystroke, again, is Command-Shift-3, and Command-Shift-4 is, Command-Shift-3 covers the whole page. Command-Shift-4 is just an image. So I click on it, and now it lets me draw this box. If I don't keep the mouse held down so I can hold the space bar, lets me move this around, let go of the space bar, and I can adjust it this way, or just hit escape and it'll get out of there. As soon as I let go of the mouse, it makes a picture of it, and the Command tab shows me all the programs I have open. There's the tab key there, and you can see that now I have this piece that I can turn in, or email. And when you take a look at this, it's a ping file, very small file, 11K, it's teeny tiny, but it's very effective in an email or a telephone, everything that doesn't take a lot of space to send out to you. So hopefully that'll give you a little background into that. So let's see.